my business partner, David, one day says, look, there's a guy who's been camped at the gate for 2 weeks every day. At least have a heart. Listen to him so he can go. And Wairi Polijo. I listened to the first 30 seconds and I knew, hit. He's urban, but he's different. Wairi sounded like Donnell Jones in SWA.
Whoa, nice.
And I'm like, yo, this we don't have. This we can work with. But I told Wairi, you know what? First of all, I want you to hone your skill. I want you to just sit down and learn. So a full year, Wairi was just learning how to record vocals. He was just being my assistant for a full year. And then one day, I say, hey, Fugees, that's what we need. We need Fugees, the group Fugees. Remember there were 3. So Wairi, Nazizi,
this chick was on.
And Nas says, I know a guy called Bamzi. He's a wicked rapper. Wairi, Nazizi, Bamzi. And that became Necessary Noise. And Necessary Noise was not competing with anybody else. They were just doing them. Necessary Noise still has never had a group that did what they were doing. They were doing something that was quirky. It had elements of the 3 of them. It had hip hop, it had reggae, it had R&B, it had a bit of dancehall, yeah. Because that's what they wanted to do, you know, just mix it up. That's why we called it Necessary Noise. It's the noise that was all necessary for them to coexist. And the first single we released off Necessary Noise's first album was Natakatoa with Nyota Ndogo.
I come and you never try to put me on their side. I'm on shot drive until me survive on me tight. Consider the way me happy try to keep me on the rise. Dada shall keep me fire burning day and night. Bana nyinyi nyote, mnachuki nyote, mlidhani kuwa hatufaulu kokote. Tutajitahidi lengo letu tutoboe, haturudi nyuma ndoto zetu tupotoshe. Mimi nataka toa, yamejaa moyoni.
And that's how I got into the Mombasa market, through Nyota Ndogo. Nyota Ndogo was brought into Nairobi, and her producer manager said, look, I think you can work with this girl, so put her on one of the songs. And as soon as she did Natakatoa with Necessary Noise, it was poof. It blew up. It's still being played on certain FM stations, you know, and in certain places in the country, especially down the coast. And then we realized with the second album with Necessary Noise, we realized that we had left too much room for Gopa to mess around. Too much room. And we sat down and actually said, you know what, we have to do a counterattack. And this counterattack has to be so bad that people will shut up. So we sat in the studio and started making just hard pop. But I went back into that thing of, these my threes. They're nowhere else. They're just in Nairobi. These my threes. I went back there. And the first single everybody knows, Uni Chaliwama. Kenyan boy, Kenyan girl. Yeah. It was all about that ma3 culture.
Hii track inaenda kwa wazi wote wa ma3, dere wa ma3, konda wa ma3, pia kama unapanda ma3, Necessary Noise.
Boy, 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 that Kenyan boy make me heart skip a bit like boy. The way he move on the dance floor, boy. He a original Kenyan boy.
Yo, Wairi, the love child, Nazizi, the first lady, we make it hot. You know, we make it hot.
Kenyan girl, won't you come take a walk with me?
Because I just went back into these mathrees, man. There's something about them. And Kenyan Boy, Kenyan Girl became about that urban vibe that we have in Nairobi that's nowhere else, you know? And that song, sadly, became so big that it killed all the other songs, you know?
Even Jewel, which was such an amazing song.
It killed all the other songs. And
it's true.
the funny thing is that there's songs that if I release off of that album today, you'd think they were recorded today. There was a song where Atemi and Dij jumped on, and man, I just hands down, you know, hands up. They sang their hearts out. They went all out. Atemi was like, no, you're not gonna beat me at this one. And Dij was like, I don't care how much you sing, I'm gonna out sing it. And they bled in the studio, literally. You can hear their vocals as they're both really pushing. And Akina, Nas, Wiring, and Bamzi, that's the only track Bamzi is on in the second album. They're just like, okay, you guys do your thing, but we're here. Us, we don't have to shout, we don't have to compete. All we have to do is bust our rhymes and we're good, you know?
And I love the fact that you've mentioned Dij because, and Kenyan Boy, Kenyan Girl, because of the transition.
Yes.
That's now when you entered video.
Yes.
And why I'm saying Dij,
yes,
because you entered It's VPO.
Yes.
So just tell us about this intro into Ted Josiah, the video producer.
So 2003, I've been working on music for, at that particular point, maybe 13 years.
In 2003.
And I'm bored stiff. I'm like, you know what? I'm a sculptor, I'm a painter, I'm a graphic designer. It's music thing, man. I'm feeling, I can't breathe, you know? We're just about to release, we've done the Afrofusion thing. That is doing well by itself, you know? So when I was on tour in Europe, I bought a camera. And I came home one day, you know, just bored out of my wits. And I'm one of those guys who likes to tinker. So I take the camera and I go out and I just tell Wiry and Nas, just go stand on that wall. And I do like a quick, you know, interview, MTV style interview, just handheld, camera whizzing all over the place, asking them their names and stuff. And I have a laptop and it's got some editing software. I'm like, so let me figure out how this works. So I chop, I put some graphics, you know, there's no YouTube, my friend. It's just, you know, you're trying to figure out, okay, that doesn't work. Okay, restart the machine. Okay, that doesn't work, restart the machine. Okay, that doesn't, you know, and I've got free time because I made the money. So I'm like, dude, let me figure out how this works because I really want to figure out how, I think video is the next
frontier.
People are not understand the same thing I had with music where people would not get the vision until I played the music for them, is when they would get the vision. Is the same thing I got with video. The first video I did was with Wanori Kahio, and she's a great cinematographer, but she still didn't get into my head what I was seeing.
And what was that first video?
It was actually with Dij. It was Kitangoma.
Ooh.
It was Kitangoma. And Kitangoma died because the video didn't really, it didn't really represent what we needed to represent. The director went in a direction that we felt was just, yeah, it's groovy, but it's not what's in our mind's eye. And that's how I got into video. I started chopping up this stuff, and Honor is the one who actually told me, oh, use Final Cut, and I started tinkering about. So I had 2 minutes video, an intro and a bit of an interview, and some guy from an advertising agency once came, and as we were doing the voiceover, I say, as I'm setting this up, just have a look at this. And I play him this thing, and he's like, yo, first forget that voiceover, give me this thing, I want to take it somewhere. And I'm like, for what? He says, just trust me on this. So I give it to him, put it on tape. He takes it to KTN. KTN, Ian Fernandez was the managing director of KTN at the time, and Mburugu Kikunda was head of television and programming. And this is back in the day when they were in Nyayo House, by the way. They call me to Nyayo House. I don't like Nyayo House much, but so they called me to Nyayo House. Hey, just come and have a meeting with us. So I go have a meeting, and Ian says, this thing, how did you do it? I say, with a home camcorder and a laptop. And he says to his guys, I've been telling you guys, this is the future, laptops and digital technology, and you don't want to embrace it. And come on. And I'm like, what is he talking about, guy? And he says, we want you to do a TV show. I explained to these guys, dude, I do not know the beginning and the end of TV. What I did was just me playing. So don't take us too serious. No, you can do it. And Gikunda, God bless him, man, says, I'll take you through. My staff will help you understand it more. Don't worry. This is on a Tuesday. He says, we want the first episode on Saturday. Dude, I'm shitting my pants at this particular point. I'm thinking, how am I gonna do a television show for the whole country? A 30-minute show based on 2 minutes that these guys have seen. How? We don't even have a name for this show. So I dash back, start creating a name. I don't know how to do graphics. I don't even have a professional camera, nothing, you know. I've got a little video VHS camera, you know what I mean? And I think to myself, well, it's all I have, and they seem to like it. If they seem to like it, it's okay. And they say, we'll pay you 15,000 a month. I'm like, it sounds like a bit little, but it's a chance to be on TV for half an hour. Let's do our thing. So Dij is there, and I'm thinking, Dij, you're taking too long to do your album. Ebu, come present this show. So you're a good presenter, you're a comedian also. Mongolo. Mongolo is there. Mongolo, come. So what I want you to do, go to the street. Here's 1,000 bob. Ask a person for 1,000 bob if they will eat grass. You know, I'm thumb sucking things now. For 1,000 bob, take this bucket of mud and ask them if for 1,000 bob they'll take the mud and smear it all over themselves. If they do, you give them 1,000 bob. Ask them if they'll eat these Scotch bonnet chili in less than 30 seconds, or these hot potatoes. And Mongol is like, I like that. I can do that really quick. So it's just handheld shots, and Mongolo says, hey, my name is Mongolo, you know, it's VPO. It's VPO. For a G, will you do this? And the first for a G was Jimmy Gadu's wife. Mongolo doesn't know that this is Jimmy Gadu's wife, okay? Mongolo goes out. He's this cameraman. Mongolo looks a bit scary. He's skinny, he's got these rough, and he just doesn't look like he fits on Dennis Pritt Road. So there's this lady who's jogging in the street, and she sees somebody running after her, and she thinks, oh no, they're coming for my gold. So she thought, I'm gonna take all my coins, my rings and swallow them. So these guys don't, and she took off and ran. I saw that on video because they got that on video. So I later on asked her what was going on, and she said, I didn't know it was a TV show or anything. I'm being accosted by thugs. What am I supposed to do? And Mongolo then became actually the reason why VP became so big. And the funny thing, when we did the first episode and we presented it to KTN, they loved everything apart from Mongolo.
What?
KTN said, this guy is too ugly for TV. Those were the words. This guy is too ugly for TV. I said, you don't get it. That's why he needs to be on TV.
He's a normal guy.
Just because of that. And they fought it. I said, please, just leave it. And Mongolo became he became the celeb. I mean, after VP, he became a counselor. You know, it lifted him to really to celebrity status in a very big way. And it also showed Kenyans that it's not about the looks. It's not about the looks. It's about that gift God has given you. Again, opening up the door. So that was my transition into television. After that, I went out and, you know, with TV, you can't really fudge it too much. You have to actually learn. So I went out and did a few courses and learned how to do video production and stuff, and came back with equipment and started now, you know, gearing up for television. And again, I was getting really bored of the music, and I was like, you know, if we cannot combine the audio with visual, we're going to be playing in a field that is half-sided. You know what I mean? It's a half the pitch. We need the full pitch. So as I was working with Necessary Noise, I already had video information. And that's why Kenyan Boy, Kenyan Girl, Bless My Room, I had videos, because at that time we were like, we make the song, and what is in our head when we're writing the song and we're talking in the studio is what we then go and film and create. Because now we have access to the technology, and also we can tell the story. We understand how it works, so we can tell our stories. Kenyan Boy, Kenyan Girl, Nikki.
Homeboys Productions, no?
Yeah. DEP, yani king wa rap, niko kwa booth moja na Nikki jo.
I never had a jam like this before. Never put it down like this before. It's feeling good, feeling right.
She did a song with Kolo, Mikono.
Yes.
PRZZZZO. Yeah, and Dij, Saa Zingine.
Shuki.
Those were the 3 songs that when MTV Base came to Africa, those were the 3 songs that were on high rotation.
Yo.
No P Square, nothing from Nigeria. Those 3 songs.
Just say the songs again.
Saa Zingine,
Yeah.
Mikono, Kenyan Boy, Kenyan Girl. High rotation. If you go and look for Kenyan Boy, Kenyan Girl, even on YouTube now, it's a rip from MTV. It's a rip from MTV. And I thought, now we can play the game. To a point where MTV then called us to the UK. And when MTV called us to the UK, they called us to have a meeting of how can we make African music bigger. We like what you guys are doing, but now we want to bless you with our MTV reach. How can we make it bigger? I had Whew, this is a painful part. I had a meeting with MTV Base, and I paid for Dij to come to the UK with me as well at the time. We had 13 interviews with BBC at the time as well. So it was really just administrative meetings of how can we move the music to the next level. And that's the time we're mastering Dij's album in the UK.
With Bruno.
Yeah, exactly. We've just finished recording the album in Kenya and Denmark. You know, God has opened up huge miraculous doors. So I'm just like, you know, fingers crossed, we're moving now to, we're going international, baby. You know, there's no competition from Nigeria. There's a guy called Two-Face doing African Queen.
Yes.
And Two-Face is scared of Wiry. He's not even scared of Dij. I'm like, you know, we okay. We okay. So we get to MTV and we have the discussion, and MTV say, carte blanche. We'll give you anything, anywhere, anytime. Say. Just say. You want high rotation? Tick. You want to give these CDs away? We'll buy them and give them away. You want to do collaborations with Lamar, with who? Tick, 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 all tick. We get back home, Dij launches the album and decides to become a radio presenter. It was all hinged on one artist. And that was 2005-06. That's actually the last official album I ever did. After that, it broke me so badly because I felt like you can invest so much energy in a person's dream and they don't want to be a part of that dream. They want to go somewhere else. And it's not going to break them. It's going to break you. And that's the first time I realized that for me, being a creative is a lot more than the money. It's when you go into your soul to make something. It's like giving birth to a child. And when people break it, it's like they've killed your child. They've totally killed your child and they've killed your spirit. And I took off to TZ. I took off to TZ for a year. I came back to Kenya and I came back in a messed up state. Psychologically, mentally, emotionally, I came back really, really messed up. I came back and I knew how to work with video, I knew how to work with sound, I knew how to, and I decided I'm going to work for, I was just going to become a mercenary for anyone and anything. So now it wasn't about passion, it was just about, I know how to use these guns, so I'm going to kill people. Literally, that's what it was about. And I ended up working as head of media for ODM just before post-election. And part of post-election was my ads were very hard-hitting. My ads were very hard-hitting and gruesome. Some of them were downright nasty. You know, it was truthful, but it was downright nasty. So I was aggravating the system. I was pushing the guys in power to think to a point where the guys in power, I remember Kibaki's late wife, Lucy, God rest her soul, saying, go and tell those guys to stop interfering in our adverts. And this actually she said in public and it went out on news. And I got a phone call immediately, we're gonna kill you. So I had moved from the music into a really dark creative space. And when Kenya went how it went in 2008, the beginning of 2008, I almost got taken away by some guys who I don't know where they were from. They saw me on a street and stopped the car and tried to push me in the car, and the late Bruno was there and I had a couple of other guys and they all came rushing And those guys sped off. I thought to myself, it's time to leave the country. It's just time to go. So I left. And
that's when you went to the UK.
That's when I went to the UK. And I spent, when God wants to move you to another level, sometimes he'll ask you if you want to do it the easy way or the hard way. And I think I didn't listen to God's voice. So he used the hard way. It would have been much easier because I had wanted to go to film school even before this. And I'd wanted to go and learn more about animation and cinematography and all of that. So it would have been much easier if I had done it earlier and listened to God's voice. But at this particular point, I'm in the UK. I need to learn a trade. I need to figure out what to do. And I end up working with a company called Steel Drum Studios, who end up training me as an animator and also a motion graphics guy, and leave me in charge of their motion graphics studio. And I end up doing work with Sony, with Adidas, with Nike, with Puma, with Discovery Channel. I end up doing work for the Mayor of London. And I end up meeting Kelly Rowland after doing the work. And I'm like, yo. So I wasn't listening to God's voice. He wanted to move me to another level. This is 2000. By 2008, I'm in the UK, just finding my feet and, you know, rediscovering myself and being reborn. And this is how I got to where I am today. I became not a music producer, but an audiovisual artist and also trainer. So I train people how to use the tools. I train people how to set up TV stations and how to create content and how to develop all of that. I still have that passion for music, but since that saga with the MTV, it's still, every single time I work with a musician, that thing still happens. You know, I put in more passion than the musician does. And I realized that they actually don't want to go where I want them to go. And I don't push anymore. So nowadays, I'll invest in a musician. And if they don't want to go that direction, I just walk away quietly because I can see the bigger picture. But we have a generation of people who, right now, bigger picture for what? I want fame now.
Instagram.
I want fame now. You've released my single and now I can eat at Java and be known by 2-3 people, have 2-3 girlfriends. I'm the guy. I'm like, you know, if you saw the bigger picture, you'd keep yourself grounded and work hard. Yeah.
One of the biggest songs, and you sort of, when you mentioned working for ODM, I did a flashback to 2001, or the transition from Kanu to basically Kibaki and his crew, and Boagabol.